up to feed at night and then moving back down into the depths during the day.
Say again?
It's called diel vertical migration.
That's really cool. Do they just know that when they go up a little bit, there's more food? Or how do they know to do that?
Can you zoom out on the
There's all kinds of research into the signals they get.
Wide.
There is some
Full
light
wide?
penetration that
That's
makes
full
it
wide?
that deep,
That's full wide.
particularly out
I
here
don't like that at all.
where the water is so clear. And some of them just have other sensing mechanisms.
That's really cool.
So this area that we're seeing with the sand or sediment, it would be pretty thin, a thin layer, or?
Yeah, definitely right here, because you can kind of see the lava's popping through, so it's probably fairly thin. But it's hard to tell, you know, when we're in that thick area. Sometimes you can get a saddle where it's quite thick, so it's difficult to tell as you push around. Right here on Drager, it's quite thin, because you can see in the valleys of each of these little riffle marks basalts.
That's okay. You can.
And do you know why this happens, or why we're seeing this area of just sand or sediment?
Yeah, it's a depression of some sort, so it's basically flat enough, or yeah, a basin essentially where you can collect sediments. So when we're going up the steeper ridges, the ocean currents, they were, you know, strong enough, and the terrain is steep enough where you can just kind of sweep it clean. Here is an area where it's just collecting, where you can't really, it's not steep enough, and it's, yeah, it's too flat for it to basically be pushed off easily by ocean currents. So it's accumulating right here.
But this would not be considered like an underwater pond, or is that what it's called? Because it's not briny, or like, yeah, why would this not be considered a pond and something else would?
Well, I don't know. It would be considered a pond. Typically, you need a big change in salinity, so you have a dense brine. In this case, it's just a, you know, an area where you can accumulate sediments. There doesn't seem to be any oceanographic changes around here.
Cool. Where do those ponds tend to accumulate? Why does that happen?
I don't know well enough, to be honest with you. I've seen them, and they look cool.
Gulf of Mexico. There's nautilus-listed explorations there in 2014 or 2015. I think that had looked at some brine pools down there.
That's cool. Did you look for life in them?
They did, I believe, and I think around the edges of them there's often a lot of life. But it's pretty high density brine, so.
Aren't some of those brine pools associated with like methane cold seeps?
Yeah, and that was some of the other features they found too, were methane seeps as well. So I think they're two different kinds of features from what I understand.
Whoa, they're associated? How is a methane seep associated with a briny pool?
Oh, sorry, they're both found in the Gulf of Mexico.
Oh, I see. Oh, sorry. That's cool.
So I got to defer to the geologists, but in the Gulf of Mexico, you get these big salt domes.
Correct.
That
Yeah. During the Cretaceous, when the Gulf of Mexico, actually not, well, during the Mesozoic, when it was first forming, it was basically a basin that was starting to rift open, but it was in a position where it filled with water sometimes, and then it will get cut off from sea, and then it will evaporate. So the base of the Gulf of Mexico is covered in these really thick salt deposits from evaporites. And what's neat about salt is it's almost viscous and malleable. So if you put sediment on top of it in different weights, it will push it, and actually it will start forming domes and come up like a lava lamp out of the seawater. And why Gulf of Mexico is such a great place for oil is because, well, first we had this salt laid down. Then there were periods where it was anoxic, so there was no oxygen in the bottom water, so organisms can kind of collect down there and just get stuck. Then they get compressed and turn to oil, but these salt domes can kind of come up above them and trap it and make an impermeable layer. So salt tectonics is kind of what it's called when you're looking at how these salt domes kind of vary through time. It's a really cool subject. It's kind of hard to imagine. That's a neat little sponge. But yeah, when you have those kind of organic rich layers that can be tapped and slowly leased, you can get all sorts of kind of cool bottom water features like brine pools and methane seeps. You don't get those out here because you don't have the organic matter basically on these seamounts. You don't get that deposition of organic matter into an anoxic basin really ever. So you don't find, it's very rare if ever to find a methane seep on like an interplate volcano. Those find more in coastal regions and shelves. You also never find oil out here, which is a good thing. So we can protect these little critters.
Here's a question for our pilots. What do you need to do to become a ROV pilot? Or let's see, maybe what steps have you taken to become an ROV pilot, or what knowledge background do you need?
Apply. Like, I think I said this already. I found this internship via Instagram. I had no prior piloting experience. So here on Nautilus, it's all about bringing in some new blood. So you can get in that way. You can try getting in that way where they come in and you'll fly. They'll teach you how to fly Argus and what to do and what to look for, and then over time you'll get some more time with Herc and learn how to fix and understand the ROVs. That's one way to do it, and I think other ROV ships might have the same type of program. But I also know that there are some institutions that have ROV training. Like you learn how to fly, maintain everything about it. It could range from anywhere from like 8 weeks to a couple months, and you basically get certified.
Can we get a zoom on this coral right here?
Yeah, sure thing.
As far as like skills, would be like some technical skills might help.
Go ahead and push on, please.
I wouldn't know to say if it's required, but it definitely helps.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Just another bamboo coral. I was looking to see if it was a black coral.
Full wide, please.
Full wide.
Chris, would you mind zooming in on these guys here so I can see?
I hoped I answered that question.
Yeah, you did good.
Thoroughly and effectively.
That sponge we just zoomed on is interesting because it looks like, oh, what's that to the right? Is that another?
I think that's a black coral to the right.
Yeah, can we zoom on that?
Yeah, and then I'll have to really boogie.
Beautiful.
Because that sponge we were just looking at looked like it was designed for the sediment, but it was on a rock.
Yeah, it changed its mind
Yeah.
midway through.
Give me
Go
some
ahead and push
leash.
on in there quick, please.
Cinnamon tight.
That is a black coral, yeah. Gonna come a little wide.
A little wide.
That should be good.
It's a feather duster.
Yeah. All right, full wide, please.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Michael, you had a lot of technical experience before.
Say again?
I said Michael had a lot of technical experience before joining.
That is true. That is true. So I guess I had plenty of technical experience, but it wasn't in any type of mechanical engineering, or because I did a lot of electronic technician work in the Navy. And there's some mechanical, like electromechanical type stuff, but nothing like, in my opinion, nothing like that what's on Herc or Argus. But yeah, that is correct. That isn't to say that, like I said, that it's not required. It only helps.
Some potentially sampleable rocks here, but we'll wait until we get closer.
Well, a lateral over.
There's a big old stalk to the
I'm
left.
trying to catch up right now. Without causing motion sickness. Yeah, we'll get Herc stretched out a bit in front of Atalanta, and then we'll have some sampling opportunities then.
Great.
What?
I think your leg's touching this.
Oh,
It's
sorry.
causing that. No, you're good.
I've gotten used to it.
I notice when the cord also touches it, it goes all nuts.
Yeah. I'm just used to current running through me.
Starting to see some thicker sheet flows. As we get shallower, the chance of seeing columnar jointing increases. Typically only see it in the shallow regimes.
Couple more little bathypathes, black corals tucked in to little crevices. So I was just looking through the guide and looking through the Kelly wish list, and if we see any more of that really unusual looking black coral, I think that's a potential target for collection. But we definitely want to see a couple more of them.
Sure thing.
What?
You just saw my first little mushroom coral of the dive. We just went over it, a little Enstamastes.
What's that little dude off to the right?
I think
Probably
that's
just
another
some
little
down
sponge
sponges.
skeleton.
Yeah. That's weird. What is this? Garbage? You want to go ahead and push on in there, please?
Zoom it in.
Yeah.
Guessing sponge skeleton that's coated in manganese.
Wow. Sponge skeleton, yeah. That's interesting. Let's do a tighter shot on it, actually.
Is that still a target for someone? I know we collected a couple on the first dive.
It's really
I
impressive.
think Dr. Ballard was encouraging us to collect those.
Yeah, is there a
Stop the
box
ship.
with a rock in it that we can put it on top of maybe?
Sponge. Depending on its size, we can put it in E, which is empty, but we also have A, B, C, and D, which only have rocks in them, but I don't know if they would fit in those. All right, so we're taking this guy?
Yeah, let's see if we can fit it in one of the boxes.
All right, full wide, please.
Wide.
Looks like a pretty ancient fossil.
That would be something. And watch the sonar as we swing there. Me? Oh, you want to watch the sonar as we swing? Let's turn down the grip force a bit. All right, you want to push on there a bit, please, Tim?
Zoom it in.
That should be good. Yeah, exactly. Here it is. Dragging myself around here. Interesting.
It's a very defined structure, whatever it is.
Yeah. All right, full wide, please.
Wide.
And this is going to go into starboard, one of the big ones. Yes, there's E left. F already has 2 samples in it.
Roger. So you want to go ahead and look at the armpit with the bubble cam?
Yeah.
And then I'm going to fall off here, so I'm going to move because I'm getting the tug. Stand by 1 sec while we get the vehicles in position before we stow it. I'm coming up. Do-do-do. It always fascinates me how much we swing in like a few seconds. Always fun.
Yeah, I like how you can have just a sudden cliff. You don't really see in high pack. There's a big sponge, right, looks like.
Alright, we're in a much happier spot over here now. I'll sit down and we can do the dance.
Got possibly a different kind of bamboo coral appearing here too.
Okay, I'm gonna sit down here. We'll see if we can open the boxes here. If not, I'll have to move. I think we'll be okay. Alrighty, go ahead and pop open that starboard bin again.
Yep.
That should. Okay, cool. Glad we have good clearance. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. Would you mind looking up on the bubble a wee bit? So I can see if I'm going to run that thing into the ground. Thank you. We're going to go for E again?
Yep.
Roger. Weird. Okay. It's in there. It's like the perfect size for that box.
Oh.
It was meant to be. Anything else we want to do while we have the ship stopped here?
You're
Kevin, you're
not,
off SPL. Sorry, Kevin, I didn't get that. You're off SPL.
Bang it out.
Kevin, sorry, could you repeat that? You're off SPL before.
Yeah, sorry, I knocked up my stuff. Yeah, I would like to look around for a rock here while I'm trying to get my SPL working.
Ah, Roger.
I think it's working.
No.
No?
Looks like there's a rock patch right up here.
Testing, can you hear me?
Yep, I'm
Okay.
there.
Yeah, I opened up a menu somehow, my fat fingers.
Any of these little rock piles look appealing, or should we keep going?
No, these look kind of welded, yeah.
Okay.
It seems like the best piles only appear when we're catching up to the ship.
It's true. That's the Murphy's Law, is that correct?
There's a big hole, branched.
All right. Let's keep going there, Chris.
I think this is a slightly different coral than we've been seeing. It's got branches at the inner nodes, but isn't that big I-4 candelabra shape.
Kevin, have we come across any of that, the pillow lava with the, it's cracked open with the layers on the inside yet? Have we seen any examples of that?
Yeah, I can barely hear you.
Oh.
Yeah, you need to either bring the mic close or speak up.
All right. How's this? Any better?
A little bit better.
Oh, that's weird. Okay. Bump up my gain.
Must project. Oh, wow.
Wow, this looks cool.
Wow. Looks like the bottom of a foot.
Do we have time for a zoom on whatever the coral is that's behind the sponge once we're done looking at it?
Oh yeah, sure. Oh yeah, let's go do that. Actually, gonna do a partial zoom while we peer around the sky.
Sure. Zooming in.
That should be good there. Looks kind of like cake. Like baklava, maybe too. I don't know.
Okay.
Has layers. I think.
Onions have layers.
Yeah, Yeah, right, you see it?
Oh,
I
there's
can
some
see it.
layers?
Oh, I think we've got a hemicorallium, the first one of the dive. This will be really nice.
All right.
Okay, you can come forward, please.
Go wide.
We'll have to wait a brief moment to get over here, just because we're out of leash. I'm going to try coming down your delta by like 5 meters, and maybe I can get it. Probably not.
Try now.
So close. That's okay. Go ahead and push on in there, please.
Zooming in.
Got any more zoom?
All the way.
That is beautiful.
There's a couple right there, huh?
Yep, it's a precious coral, hemicorallium.
Gonna come a little wide there.
Is that like a star in there too?
Yep,
good
that's
there.
a star in there too.
I'm gonna do a quick.
Camouflaged in there. Or trapped.
We've got a trifecta there. There's a sea pen coming out of the sediment and a bamboo coral right behind, and then the precious coral in front.
And come partial wide, please.
Partial
Or actually
wide.
full wide would be good.
Go wide.
Is that a reef? Is that technically a reef?
I would say it's almost a garden, but not quite dense enough.
Did you guys got what you needed, or you want another full zoom in there?
I got what I needed. Thank you.
Sure thing.
So I'm not seeing any potential rocks looking up on this horizon. We might want to just beeline straight to waypoint 10 at this stage. Skip over 9 because it looks really flat.
Sure thing.
And then once the contours start getting steeper over there, we might want to slow down and try to see if we can find a rock right after.
Oh, I think he wants to, so you want to belay waypoint 9 and go to 10?
Yeah.
You think we're seeing right now what we're going to see at waypoint 9?
Yeah.
As this nice flat dome.
It doesn't look like it's going to get any steeper. And it's going to get much steeper at waypoint 10. We're probably getting into the carbonate, but we'll see. We'll grab a rock and just in case. Watch we hit the base of it.
Ridge nav, 750 meters, 070.
Did you say that coral was a hemicorallium? Is that what you said?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's hemicorallium, although I'm about to check.
Okay, cool. I swear, I try to find the spellings of these things
Ridge
on my own,
confirmed,
but I'm usually so
750
off.
meters.
Google doesn't even begin to guess what I'm talking about.
750. Yep.
Raj. Maybe when we start to get to the tighter contours, we'll slow to like 0.2. But that's in like...
Wouldn't want to get going too fast.
We don't want to smear ourselves against that. Be a bagel and schmear.
So right now we're cruising along the top of a kind of a knoll on the ridge, and flattens out a bit, and as such, it's kind of covered in sediment. Surprisingly, there's no ripple marks
Okay.
in this sediment, so it must be an area where there isn't a lot of localized current.
Thank you.
Got a hot mic.
Oh, my bad. These things hurt after a while.
They sure do.
They really do.
Some kind of feature there.
It feels fun.
I think that's the remains of one of those sponges.
Go ahead and push on in there quick, please.
All that's left is those long hooks into the sediment.
Yeah, wow. Must have been a bigger one. Pull wide, please.
Pull wide.
You said that's on one of Chris Kelly's collection list. Is a live one of those. Back row.
Sorry, I missed, what was the first part of that question?
Oh, I said Chris Kelly's collection has that sponge on it as well.
I will check.
I'm doing a DVL reset there. And do a DVL reset there, Chris.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, sir.
Pow.
Very nice.
DVL reset.
There's a large coral.
It's another one of the sea pens.
This one looks different. You can do a snap zoom. I think that's just dead stock something.
Zoom it in.
Yeah, dead stock. Okay, pull wide.
Pull wide.
I'm not seeing any of the sea pens or the sponges in the sediment on Chris's list myself. So.
All right. Oh, it was the black coral. Go ahead and push on in.
Zoom it in.
Was it I think there was a black coral that was in the sediment. Was that on his list?
It's a Protoptylidae sea pen.
Little shrimp.
And little shrimpy getting into the view.
That one had a bandana on its leg.
Little gang shrimp.
And come partial wide.
Partial wide.
Go ahead and push on in again, please.
Zoom it in.
So trippy. It's eating as it's flying.
Evasive little shrimp.
Yeah, tell me about it.
All right, full wide, please.
Full wide.
We could stay on it for hours. So let's do it.
Sea star.
Is that a sea cucumber over there?
I think so.
Yeah.
It was, and we're seeing some more sea pens kind of poking up out of the sediment as we move along as well.
You guys mind if we kick up the speed a bit to 0.5 knots?
Yeah, I think that's great.
Looks like it's gonna be sandy for a while.
Bridge nav, increase speed, 0.5 knots.
As soon as we move, it's going to be like
Whoa.
amazing.
Yeah, I gotta start calling in fake speed ups. Every time I say it, that's when you get the nice cliffs. Is that a big sea cucumber to the right?
Yeah, let's take a look at it. We got nothing but time.
Have we seen a gummy squirrel yet?
Gummy squirrel? Did I miss something?
Oh, it's a type of sea cucumber.
Oh.
It's got kind of a long, almost looks like a tail, but it's more of a sail.
Interesting.
This one's got some big tentacles on its back.
Yeah. Got him push on in there pretty tight.
Solid.
That is cool.
Got a belly full of sediment.
Yeah. Tasty. The right side is the front, right? Is that looks good?
Yep, the right side is the front.
All right, full wide, please.
Full wide. These sponge bases almost look like old tree stumps.
It really does.
So with these sponges that live out in the sediment, a lot of them are in the genus Hyalonema, and they get called the fiber optic sponges because when they're full size, those the stumps we're seeing can be these long, like twisted columns of fibers, and it basically is fiberglass that it's made out of, and it's one of the strongest materials in nature. And you can get into big areas where they're like, it's like a field of them, and they look like these crazy huge tulips on the bottom.
Cool.
That I want to see. That sounds amazing.
But how's the internet? Thank you. Thank you. Just a reaction. That's all I wanted.
Acknowledgement.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jess.
Ooh, macadamia. Yeah.
Thank you.
I forgot I had a mask. Stealing bubble.
From the makers of Blue Watch, we bring you Sand Watch. Nothing but the most exciting seafloor we can find.
Have to start a competing radio program.
This is KOET on Sandy Watch Beach.
Oh,
Yeah.
I like that. That's pretty cool.
There's a fish.
Yeah, that
Oh, we got a good fish.
All right, go ahead and start your zoom there.
This is a halosaur, possibly Bathysaurus, otherwise known as a lizard fish.
Look how cute that puppet is. Go ahead and push on in a bit more over there, please. Oh, this is very transparent.
He doesn't like keeping secrets, so.
You guys want to see a nice smiling face shot?
Do it.
Lining up perfectly for the still cam.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the still cam. That'd be good.
It's a beautiful smile.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very cute.
So
Yeah,
it's a
cool, I
smile
think.
that says
Oh,
trouble for that little shrimp we saw earlier.
Oh,
Oh, that's very true. Really doesn't mind us being there, which is kind of interesting. Lets us fly right over him.
It's probably stunned from the light.
Yeah, or from the beauty of the vehicle.
Sure. Yeah. No one's gonna believe this when he gets home. I'm telling you, Carl. It just came up at me.
I mean, if I saw a UFO, I would probably just sit there still, motionless, staring at it. Giving my best smile.
A small little thing, but it's kind of strange since we're on this sandy bottom here to see our tether, like the shadow of our tether in the on the sand. It makes you think that there's line in the water, but it's just us. It's us.
So you must start every time you see that out of the corner of your eye.
Is that a little sponge?
I think that is a little sponge.
All right, go ahead and push on in there, please. It's created its own little fortress there.
Yeah. Created a moat.
So cute.
Oh, sorry. Thruster washing your moat. Very cool. Pull wide, please.
Pull wide.
You can zoom in a little on Atalanta.
Say when.
Right there. Watch her just hobble back and forth. Waddle. Waddle, waddle, waddle.
You see what I'm saying? Like on the port cam.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like I was like, "Rah."
What is it?
We got a line in the water. No, it's just
Something's
us.
coming. Oh, another thingy on the side.
There's sea cucumber and the. Oh, is this a worm? It's an acorn worm, hey?
Cool.
Oh, yeah. And another little sponge.
Yeah, go ahead and push on in there, please. Oh, sorry.
A little tighter.
Stand by 1 quick second. Go ahead.
All right. Cool.
Yeah. Yeah. That's correct. I think I'm a little bit. Let's get there.
It's got quite a long transparent body.
Yeah. It's curious how its head's all full of sediment. Usually they're quite cleaned off. All right, pull wide, please.
It's got a great scientific name. This is a yoda purpurata.
Oh.
Ah, wise.
Oh, interesting that was.
So was that worm kind of like a filter feeder, or it filters the sediment?
Yeah, that worm will be a it'll be a deposit feeder, so something that's feeding out of the sediment itself. Is this a
Very cool looking.
flatnose?
Go ahead and push it on there a bit, please. Nice.
A big blue eye.
Looks like the same one from before, but like totally dark.
Oh no. Go ahead and push on in a bit more there, please.
Oh, giving us the cold fin.
What is the name of this guy again?
This one right here?
Yeah.
Oh, I have no idea.
I thought you were going to say something
Sorry, I
else.
don't know
Cool,
what.
thanks.
I'm
I'm
sorry.
gonna check, but it looks like a flat nose, but I'm not that good on my deep sea non-rockfish.
Does it look like it's injured?
Kind of does,
Like a
right?
scar or something?
Always looking at us. All right, we'll let him be. Go ahead and come forward.
What?
Exit the screen. As I make a rainstorm for him of sediment.
The beach here is, it's not a beach, but yeah, it's providing, proving, amazingly diverse. I was not really expecting to see this much out here.
Yeah, you tend to find more fish in the sandy, sedimented areas. That's kind of why we want to spend a little time on top of the geo once we get to it, try to see if there's any fish communities we can observe. What's this little ball?
Huh. You want to go ahead and push on in there, please?
Zooming in. It's just
Thing's
tumbled.
booking it.
I have no idea what that is.
Huh.
Looks like it used to be a jelly.
So much for their immortal propaganda.
Yeah, what is that?
Is it like a dandelion or something? Got any more zoom there?
Definitely. Keep going.
That's okay.
Okay.
Got myself all turned around for a jelly thing.
Sorry, full wide.
Thank you.
Well, the group of fish
Yeah,
that
probably
one
like
was in
another
is the
30
moridae.
meters or so. We can slow it to 0.2.
But there's quite a few species worldwide that all have this morphology.
Awesome, thank you.
There's a lot of little urchins on here.
Yeah.
Small wee ones.
Starting to get some defined ripples. Interestingly, they're kind of pointing more eastward. So the current direction has changed from earlier when it was a little more north-south current. Now the current's going a bit more east. Oh, actually going into the current. So we should be approaching kind of a steeper topography in the next, I don't know how long that is. What is that, 50 meters, 60?
Ridge nav, reduce speed 0.2 knots.
Thanks, guys.
You can see all the pits in the sediment in the Atalanta view that are not quite as visible, just looking forward.
Oh yeah, that's cool. For as stable and consistent, I guess, as or constant as the deep sea is, there seems to be, a fair amount of stuff tilling up the sand here.
Yep, there's definitely sea cucumbers kind of working their way through here. Some more of those acorn worms and other things just kind of leaving trails. There's a sea cucumber right there.
Were we able to identify the last two fish that we saw? The black looking one, and I think you said the lizard fish?
So the lizard fish is definitely a halosar of some kind. And then the blackfish is in the family Moridae, or Moridae. There's several different species that are in that group that all have that kind of same black morphology. So the tentative ID from these areas is a species called Lamonema robustum. So that's a tentative ID for that one.
So Michael, earlier I heard you talking about auto heading while you were driving? Is there like an autopilot for Herc?
I mean, yes, there is, kinda. You can set up all your like a preset heading and a speed, and you can go in steps and have like an auto altitude type deal, right? And then you can tell it to go like 50 meters or like 10 meters, and you can just push the button. And you can also have altitude steps. If you want to go up a meter over the course of 10 meters across, you can basically have that slope. It'll slowly do that.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's a lot of pre-staging, you know. I know that we did that a lot in ONC because he wanted to do a lot of tracks where it's just like slow and steady, so we could get video capture of the snow, I guess, that was coming in, the sea snow, ocean snow, sea life. Yeah, and auto heading is one of those things where you can just kind of, it'll stay, otherwise it'll kind of drift where the current pushes it or something like that.
We also use stick lock a lot too for like pushing ourselves into cliffs or into surfaces. And yeah, so it basically just means that whatever command you gave it last is going to be the thing that it's holding constant. So you can take your hands off the stick and you can still have it locked to that command.
Yeah. As it is. So.
For better, for worse.
Yeah.
So the thrusters just sort of hold you against a rock face, or?
Yeah, so if you're constantly pushing down,
Okay.
and it's pushing a thing, and you stick lock it, it'll maintain that.
Oh, okay.
That vector essentially.
Okay.
So if you're pushing against a vector that's against an object, and it's not going to do anything, then you maintained stationary. Right.
Here's an example. So if I want to stick lock it, I'm going to stick lock it to the left here. And so I'm holding down, now I'm pressing stick lock and my hands are off, and it's still translating. So it's keeping that command. But the caveat is that you can't really control you lose control of everything else. So you really want to make sure you're like clear of anything. So like flat and sandy like this, it's all right, but you don't want to do that coming up a hill.
Unless you're a cowboy.
Unless you're what?
A cowboy.
Unless you're a cowboy, I suppose. Even still?
But cowboys don't get jobs. But yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if the computation that goes into that is vector control. Taking a vector input and maintaining that vector. Because vectors are cool.
Vectors are cool.
I don't know, I'm more of a tensor guy myself.
Oh, not even.
Oh no. We got another hour. Actually, no.
Less than.
We have 30 minutes? Oh man.
Yeah, we want to get to this wall. Let's see. The high pack is lying to us.
Yeah, I guess we could have put up the backscatter. But this might just be a shallow layer of sediment. I'm not sure.
Tensor is just a collection of vectors anyway. Non-interacting vectors.
No, matrix is a collection of vectors.
Well, yeah, a tensor is a collection of matrices. Yeah. It's still on the umbrella.
Jess is like
it's still the
sinking
umbrella.
down in her chair. She's like, uh-oh, they're going off on physics now.
Another Acorn one?
Yep.
Looks like a worm.
Hey, physics is the spearhead.
That's true.
I thought it was the umbrella, like a fool. Quite the curious fool, I might say.
The sand ripples just got really long and linear. Really
Yeah.
nice.
As if part of some field. A vector field, one might say.
Really expected this to be like rocky and steep. I mean, it's steep, but it's just sand.
Yeah, it's surprising.
Just sand.
It's true. I'm doing it dirty to everyone that studies sediment. I'll give you a tug, sorry. I'm almost in here.
Now would be a cool time to find Atlantis.
No, I wouldn't want a relief then
Oh
at that
yeah,
point. We lock the door.
Never mind. Mark it down, write it down. We'll run away and we'll come back. Not gonna take this from us. We traverse so long. Oh, I went up super high.
Well, we're definitely not getting you a rock anytime soon, Kevin.
No, I think we might be done for rocks. We'll see.
I mean,
I think we're going to be approaching the Geo Summit.
sediment technically like tiny microscopic rocks.
No. I mean, yes, in some cases, but most of the time it's distinct mineral grains, but you can have class.
Oh.
I have dated pebbles before. Just
Oh.
tiny little pebbles recovered from a seamount on a dredge.
Rocks, little small rocks.
Yep.
Well, is there anything on the sediment you guys want to see?
No.
That'd be funny if you just move some of the sediment and it's just a bunch of awesome rocks.
Yeah.
That's true.
I mean, if we had a deep enough drill core, we'll hit some nice rocks eventually.
What's this little fish we got up here?
Oh yeah, let's go look. Oh, there's something cooler up to the left. We want the fish.
We don't know that. We don't know that.
Oh, actually, it's an urchin, I think. Oh, okay, kind of cool.
Big urchin, little tiny fish.
Watch out for the urchin fish.
It
Must
lunges.
be a
It lunges.
roller coaster of emotions. Something cooler? Oh, it's just an
it's
urchin.
We got him fish on in there, please. Oh, this one has the little shoes on it.
Little boot.
Yeah. I forgot what it's called though.
Do you think they knitted it?
Knitted it?
Yeah.
Because it has all its needles.
I didn't even think about that. That's hilarious. Is it spitting up stuff? Or was that just stuff that's drifting by?
Might just be us throwing some stuff in the water. Actually, I want to see if we can get some cool shots of the shoes. Can you come partial wide, please?
Partial wide.
Let's get there.
Sea urchins are deposit feeders as well.
You want to zoom in tight there real quick?
Zoom in
Yes,
tight.
for the most part. Up shallower, they'll actually be herbivores, where they will consume seaweed, but down here they'll be largely deposit feeding.
Right, like in Monterey Bay, there was the whole food web
Safety
issue
issues.
when they were hunting sea otters, and then that caused an increase
All
in
right,
sea
full leg,
urchins,
please.
and they were
What?
It's like clean
knocking
room
down
booties.
eating the kelp forest stuff.
Yep, you can actually, the technical term for that is called urchin barrens, where you can have these
Hygienic
explosion
conscious
in
sea
urchin
urchin.
population that just take out all of the kelp in an area. Ooh, Atlanta is suggesting that there's rock ahead. Oh, even closer than I thought there would be.
Dibs, found it. Your walks.
Come on, big coral, no whammies.
No whammies.
That was a big shrimp. So we might try to, if we can collect a rock over here, that'd be great.
Roger that.
Just poke around.
Let me get myself sorted out here. I'm going to fly a little uphill of you, so if you want to look around like 0 degrees or so, just so that I don't run you into the cliff.
There's the cliff we've been promised.
You talking to me?
Yeah, I'm gonna fly kind of offset here.
I'm
into
going
the
to go to
cliff.
0, 0.
Yeah. That way I know I just need a lateral. And I'm coming up if you want to increase your delta.
That explains why I can't see you. There you are.
Michael, I'll remind you that Atalanta's also zoomed in a tidge.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, there I am. You can see me in Herc's bucket.
Yeah.
And you're pulling it. I think I'm pulling you, actually. I was like, no way. I thought we had bubbles.
No, sediment.
I was about to say.
Oh, I think you're looking pretty down too.
Yeah, you might be ahead of me, so.
Yeah, I'll stay stretched out now in front. Nice.
So whenever we can poke around at the base of one of these cliffs. There seems to be a lot of talus.
Yeah, sure thing.
We wait for a swing. How much we got
Yeah,
left?
we'll get Herc a bit out in front, and then we'll have some time to poke.
Excellent.
Rivers of sand.
Yeah.
There we have a couple corals right at the base of that feature.
Yeah.
Looks like a bamboo and a black coral.
Oh, I got a laundry in the drawer.
Was that?
Nothing.
rock. Like a big old sponge.
Couple more corals on the right there.
We've had an Iridigorgeia and another bamboo there.
All right, well, we can start looking around for rocks, although these look all pretty welded in.
Yeah, is there still cliffs to the left? Seemed like those were the ideal spots.
Yeah, so those are kind of behind us, so you can't sample there right now. So you actually want to move around the ship, but I'm sure we're just starting to get into the thick stuff, or the steeper stuff, so.
Yeah, it doesn't look like anything here is going to be grabbable. Let's see.
Sure, yeah, we can keep our eyes peeled and hot on the minute. All right, Mike, I'll have you come to 070 now.
70 degrees.
700.
Said 070, yeah?
Yeah, okay, maybe I'll have you come to 045. I'll stay a little bit upslope with you still. What about these rocks here?
Yeah,
This
we can try to grab something from over
This is
here.
070.
Raj.
Or do you want me to say 45?
Something in this general area.
Yeah, 45 might be good.
All right.
Better visuals for the...
Bridge nav, hold position. Bridge nav, 15 meters, 260.
So maybe we can get this little guy over here and then put it next to the sponge.
Oh, okay, interesting. This wee little one.
Yeah, it's kind of small though, but none of them. Well, we'll see what can. Either that or this one's a big one, but I don't think we have a room for it.
Okay, up to you guys.
Do we have spot?
That box E that the sponge went into was quite big.
Yeah, so we can fit in there. I just don't want to crush the sponge, but I think, yeah, that guy's probably too small.
We also have an omega, just a 10 centimeter
careful.
rock, if you want to put 2 rocks into there.
Is that Omega in the front?
Yep.
Yeah, we kind of want to avoid the
Yeah.
front if we can.
Oh, right, because the
The-
cucumber.
Can we look at this guy? Let's see if it's
In both A and B, those rocks are very small, like 10 to 15 centimeters, so they could also fit another rock in the
Okay.
starboard box.
Yeah, this one has a very distinct shape, so it's easy to separate, but I just want to make sure it's not all crust. It might be.
Okay, go ahead and push that in there, please. Ah, sorry for the sediment. Go ahead and push in a bit more there, please.
Oh, if it is all crust, it's a really thick piece of crust. So I think that's as good as we're going to find. So
Keep it?
Yeah.
Roger that. Full wide, please.
Full wide?
And you want this in E?
Yeah, I think so.
Roger. All right. Switch over the cameras. All right, I'm ready for you.
Ready for switching over?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, coming up.
Raj.
Want to come all the way out or just enough for E?
That's good there. Yeah, just enough for E. Oops, excuse me.
It's so cool if you got good with it, you can just toss it in.
Throw it in the air,
And it's like in the water, just whoosh.
mid-spin. Okay, it's next to the sponge.
It's,
Thank you.
Yep.
close it up.
Yeah, good. Alrighty, Chris.
Bridge nav. 250 meters, 060.
Yeah, let's try to see if we can go look along the cliffs and steep faces up to waypoint 10. Hopefully see some cool coral.
If we could, this is about the time we would take in a caller.
We have a question about the coolest, weirdest, freakiest fish we've ever seen on the Nautilus, or ever really.
Fish.
I would say the gulper eel. I wasn't on that expedition, but I was watching it live over in Hemicorallium. That's one of the coolest fish I saw.
The coolest fish.
Definitely one of the funniest, because when they zoomed in on his tiny, tiny beady eyes and this big round Muppet body, it cracked me up.
Oh, I forgot what it was. It's the googly-eyed octopus. That was for me. It was like purple, tiny little, looked like it had googly eyes on it.
Yeah. Can you do DVL reset, please?
It was too adorable for its own good.
DVL reset, please.
My personal favorite kind of crazy weird fish that I saw, I've seen one while working on NOAA's West Coast trawl survey, it's the long-nosed lancet fish, which also gets known as the cannibal fish. They're a midwater species that are these really, really aggressive, voracious predators. And they get known for being as the cannibal fish because often if you do a diet study with them, you'll find others of their own type that they have consumed.
Huh.
They've got a
Wow.
really great sail on their back too.
I haven't personally seen this fish, but I saw it on Instagram on Scripps Institution of Oceanography's page. They saw a football angler fish wash ashore near Scripps, and yeah, it looked pretty creepy.
There's so many different things. It's hard to nail it down.
I think seeing an oar fish would be pretty cool. I know I've seen there is some imagery of oarfish. I don't know that Nautilus has seen one. But basically it's a sort of long, it almost looks like an eel, but it sort of has the head of one of the pelagic hunter fish, and it's really long, like 10 feet long, maybe longer, and it sits vertically in the water. Hunts stuff that comes by, just sort of floating out there.
They're giving me a tug, yeah.
They're really colorful too. I really like oarfish, and their distant cousin, the king of the salmon.
I've caught an oarfish in Animal Crossing.
Wait, they're related to salmon?
No, there's another fish that's got a very similar shape with like the really long fin and the high rays. They're really long and ribbon-like, called a king of the salmon.
Oh, king of the salmon. Okay.
I think it would be also really neat to see a mola from an ROV.
What's that?
Ocean sunfish.
Oh, that was oh, okay. I heard it like in stereo. It threw me off. Yeah, that'd be really cool.
We had a school of mahi-mahi swim by during the recovery the other day. Maybe it was during the launch.
Oh man, what I wouldn't have give to be to be on watch when the whale came by. Oh, that'd been so cool.
Is there a little red critter?
It's a mushroom coral,
Mushroom
Enstamastes. We have environmental DNA samples taken by Nautilus from the Channel Islands from the 2017 expedition that I've been analyzing. And we took a sample actually while Hercules was being towed between dive sites up in the water column. And on the video up there, you can see all these fish in the distance, but none of them are getting close to the vehicle. And most of them are rockfish, and we've been able to determine what most of those rockfish species are. There's a couple different varieties that are that tend to live up in the water column. And in that sample, we actually detected mola eDNA, which was really cool. So there must have been one in the area.
That is cool. Yeah, they like to hang out close to the floating rafts of kelp in that corner of the world. So you see them, from boats at the surface.
Yeah, I interned at a whale watching boat in Monterey, and we used to see them all the time. Like some were pretty small, but then you would occasionally get this really huge sunfish. So it was cool.
Were they in groups or were they alone?
Yeah, they were alone. Usually just see one kind of lingering to the top of the surface.
Yeah, they're so, they're so weird looking and and amazing at the same time.
Oh.
Well, we've definitely found the wall, but no limestone yet.
No, it's definitely volcanic structures. Surprisingly, not a lot of critters on this side of it. I'm wondering if the opposite side has the better currents. Oh, there you go.
A little Chrysogorgia, and I think that's a feather star, but I'm not 100% sure. Didn't get a great look at.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's a tiny pink coral that just went below the lasers. Super small.
Sea cucumber? It's really small.
Is that another hemicorallium potentially? It's hard to see.
Yes, I do believe so.
Oh, big old sponge. Is that a polyopogon?
Yep.
That's a fun sponge name to say.
On one of the dives in Papahana Mokuakea earlier this year, there were some of these that were huge, like vehicle size.
Yeah, that was one of the coolest gardens I think I've seen. Yeah.
Cool.
And they fell right into it too. They just came straight down into that garden. It was a great dive.
And for anyone who's watching at home who wants to go and revisit this and see the dives we're talking about, I believe all of those are available on the Nautilus Live YouTube channel.
Yeah. Trying to remember the name of the seamount. I want to say it was Don Quixote seamount, but I can't swear to it. It's in the Voyager seamounts.
I mind looking a little bit down so that I don't tear off the leash. I know what that little feathery thing is right
It's
there.
a little Enstamastes down to the left. And a little really fine bamboo coral kind of next to it.
Is that what you said? Look down?
Yeah, if you don't mind.
Is that good? Or?
Yeah, that's good. Sometimes it's deceiving because I'm like already out, you know, at the end of my leash, and then I think you still have a little left. Go ahead and push on in here, please.
I love the little mushroom corals. They're always so cute and charismatic.
Yeah. Pull wide, please.
Pull wide.
We're going to be doing a watch swap right now. So it's going to be a little quiet for a little bit. Thank you for joining in on the watch, and we'll see you next time on KOET. Pickle out.
We're doing a watch changeover, so you'll hear more people as they get settled back into seats in just a minute. All right, hey everybody, we are taking over 4 to 8 watch here. This is, let's see, 16 hours into this dive and climbing up an unnamed guyot south of Johnston Atoll. We're excited to take your questions and have you join us as we keep climbing.
All right. So I think the plan is we're going to keep going in the same direction that they were before. Can we zoom out and high back a little bit to take a peek at where we are in context?
We sure can. How's that? Do you want more?
Yo, that's great.
Okay.
Yeah, this is fine. Let's keep going like this, kind of heading towards acquiring the crest of that ridge to the east of us a bit, and then we'll work our way kind of northeast
Okay.
after we acquire the ridge.
Okay, sounds good.
Oh, there's nice Enstamastes.
Nice one.
Enstamastes tahinotis. That's one that's pretty easy to identify. It was collected here by this ship back in 2019.
Yeah.
Dan, were you here in 2019?
Yep.
So you might have collected it.
I seem to remember collecting a few of those guys.
Dan's like, I have a personal history with that one.
Is there I'm curious, is there anyone else from that
You want to come
Johnson
up
Atoll cruise
just
last
a bit on the wire there?
Good question.
also on this ship?
I was not on that one. Let me go look up the team.
Float was.
Yeah, thank you.
I'll try and offset a little here. So
We
let's.
did relatively few dives in this area on that expedition.
Yeah,
as I
just
remember.
one. They mapped.
Whoa, just one?
They mapped. Yeah, they just did one dive. I understand they had some weather. Did one dive on the south side of Johnston proper.
Okay.
So nothing on the seamounts, but they did map one completely.
Rennie was on that one.
Yeah.
Jess. And
Rennie, the coral ID expert.
All right, so we've got some good diversity here since our last meeting, but yeah, we're probably going to see similar diversity to the end of our last dive, and maybe a little bit higher diversity as we get up to the top of the seamount. We're looking at Bathypathes here. This is a black coral. We've seen Bathypathes from as deep as around 2,100 meters here. But it most likely gets much deeper, possibly a different species. But I know just from watching this dive, we've been seeing it for several hundred meters of vertical now.
just a reminder that if you're watching on YouTube, you can pop over to nautiluslive.org and see live streaming data of the vehicle's depths there. We're at 1,933 meters now on our way up the side.
Hercules checks are good on to Argus.
And if you're watching on channel 3, Dan's just put up the high pack
Can we look
screen.
at the sea pen if we have time over in the sediment?
That's our planning tool, so you can see the track of the ship and the ROVs along with the waypoints of the dive progressing there.
Try that.
So this is a sea pen, a type of octocoral. It looks very similar to one we tried to sample earlier, and I think somewhat successfully. So this is probably in the family Protoptylidae, but it's good to know that it's here also. A lot of species, I think, not sure what depth it was when we got off watch today, but it was probably in the 2,500 meter depth range, but it's not unusual for a species to have several hundred meters of depth range. So this could very well be the same species. All right, that's pretty good. We got some screen grabs.
You want to, we're just in, if you want to full zoom there, you could probably get one.
Yeah, whatever you got.
Sure. Looks better.
So Steve, this coral kind of challenges our corals always grow on hard rock substrate. What is this anchored to?
So they are not
time,
necessarily anchored to anything. They have a kind of a bulbous peduncle that they can inflate and kind of wedge themselves into the sediment. They can also use that to escape down into the sediment if needed.
Wait, like all the way down?
They could fold that whole thing down?
That one disappeared on us, yeah, this morning.
What?
Yeah, that's one of, I mean, not all sea pens can escape like that, but that one, I've seen it all over the Pacific, and it tends to, yeah, escape just like that. It's pretty fast, too.
Wow.
So they'll kind of inflate that bulb and pull themselves under to avoid, who knows, maybe it's some sort of predator, but they do have a pretty impressive response for in the deep sea. A lot of things aren't that fast.
This one is beautiful.
Wow.
Yeah. This is an unbranched bamboo coral, different from some of the species we were seeing down deeper earlier this morning. But this one has a squat lobster associate attached onto it.
Oh. Looks like a lasso.
These, I know I've sampled this particular bamboo coral in other parts of the Central Pacific on other expeditions. Oh, can we look at this back here, this stalked crinoid? They might have something on it that would be really cool to see. Oh no.
What just fell?
Lost the clip of the telestrator on the floor. Oh, I got it. Anyway. Yeah, so there's something
Go ahead,
here
Dan.
that might be interesting to observe. And I saw kind of a nodule on the stalked crinoid that I wanted to check out. That's why I'm zooming in here. So can we get a really tight close-up on this? Do you have time
Sure.
to like sit down and get a really
Yeah, I'll have to sit down to get it.
close zoom on this?
So Steve, can you tell us what that is?
Yeah. Anyone want to guess
Zoom out
first?
just a
Let's
bit.
see.
Gastropod of some sort?
Closest guess wins.
We're guessing what the bump is on the crinoid?
Yeah.
A coconut.
It's another animal. What's it doing?
Is it? It's eating it?
Is it a clam? I haven't even
Okay,
gotten a
Dan.
look. I'm just guessing.
I'll be able to
Is
get
it a
tight zoom there.
gastropod?
This is actually a really
Is it
cool.
a baby whale?
A megalodon.
No.
It's a snail?
It does look a little. Huh.
So this is pretty neat, and it's actually been observed in Johnston Atoll before, but I've never seen this before in person. It's kind of neat. This is a stalked crinoid, first of all, but on the stalked crinoid there is a gastropod, or a snail, and this particular snail, what's been observed in the past is these snails like to eat or graze on the fecal material that the crinoids will produce.
Wow.
And so what they do is they kind of just position themselves right on top of the rear end of the crinoid and kind of eat whatever comes out. Sometimes they'll graze on, parasites or other material on the stalk that might be. So for example, that's why maybe the lower half has some crinoids on it, but the upper half is bare, so they could be grazing on some of the other animals that might be using the crinoid for structure. But yeah, this has been observed before back in 2017, and it was really bizarre, and it really befuddled the scientists who were looking at it. And there's some pretty awesome highlight video of that. But one of the things that was interesting by one of the science leads at the time on the Oceanic Explorer who observed this, Chris Ma at the Smithsonian Institution Echinoderm expert, noted that this kind of behavior of these snails and crinoids association has been observed back in as far back as like the Paleozoic and fossil records.
Whoa.
So this is a really
Can you,
long-lasting you know, relationship between these types of animals.
So is it a commensal relationship maybe? Or parasite?
Not quite clear. You know, I'm sure that the snail is not necessarily eating the crinoid, so it might, you know, serve a benefit for the crinoid as well as the snail. So it could be commensal. I don't know if we have a really good idea about it. Can we zoom in actually mid-stalk? There's something moving around there.
Yeah, go ahead if you got any more there.
What's that?
Looks like a nematode.
Is that living inside of it?
That's Max.
There's something there. It's on the back side of the stalk now.
Huh.
Yeah, that whitish thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was something in the back, kind of in this area. I thought it might have been a polychaete worm or something, but it was moving around a bit. So these are hydroids. These are animals as well, stuck to the stalk here. Oh yeah, you can start to see right here, the head of what looks like a polychaete worm of some type.
So why are the polychaete worms, why are they attached to these kind of animals?
Well, it's really interesting. You know, anytime you have, you know, stalks or structure above what's called the benthic boundary layer, which is like the very, you know, few centimeters, you know, directly above the surface of the bottom, you have really strong flow conditions. And yeah, there it is, right there. There's the worm. And the flow conditions, especially in this part of the deep sea, that's what brings food to these animals. So whenever you have structure, everyone likes to colonize the structure.
We are pretty,
you know, whether or not it's yeah, looks like this worm is in this tube here. So the animals like to colonize the structure because it provides, you know, like a little mini community, a habitat for a lot of different types of suspension feeding animals that use, you know, the resource that comes from above. All right, great imagery.
So is this
crinoid? Yeah,
Okay.
crinoid poop eating snails with worm.
Yes.
Amazing.
It's a whole community.
So does this have any like benefit for the actual, like the crinoid or the actual, now of course I'm blanking on the name, but the animal it's attached to?
You know, I don't know, but I had surmised that, you know, maybe because the hydroids weren't completely covering the stalk, maybe there was some, you know, grazing, you know, not exclusively on the fecal material of the crinoid, but maybe, you know, grazing of other animals that might, you know, attach to the crinoid stalk on the upper, you know, maybe 1/3 of that stalked crinoid. So it might be, you know, keeping the stalk clean, per se. Could be other animals, too.
Is it super common to see that happen?
Things do graze down, yeah, other
You're in the butt cam right now.
fouling organisms. So it's not unusual.
I'm trying to go this
snails
way, but
especially.
it's dragging my tail around.
It's kind of like your
grazers.
good benefit, right? If you're like, if you can climb up there, you can eat other food
Okay,
that
I'm
wants
turning
to
auto
climb up
head
there
back
too.
on.
Yep.
Yeah.
Roger.
All right, dive planning question. Maybe whoever wants to take it.